everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be recommending some books for you because I love to read and reading is great. I'm going to be recommending some spiritually inclined books. If you want another video I can recommend other books that are still spiritually inclined but not exactly informational, more fantastic. But today I'm going to be recommending informational books. Now let's get right into it. The first book I'm going to be showing you is a book by Julia and Derek Parker. It's a complete book of dreams. And that's backwards for me, but I hope it's not backwards for you. This book is really, really good. I lent it to my friend Lisa at one point, who was having some interesting lucid dreams, and when she gave it back, she didn't give it back to me, she just kind of left it in my house, and it disappeared completely. And just today, in fact, I said, okay, where is that book? And I walked into her room, and it was sitting there in the middle of the floor. So this book is really good. It has a lot of great information on dreams and history. It's got a more in-depth view of dreams, and look at that, the page I opened to has the word magic in it. Wow. But yeah, it's got a bunch of great artwork, and it's got some really good historical evidence, and at some parts in the book it gives you examples of dreams and then the interpretations of them. So I think that's pretty cool. Moving on is a book that I was gifted. It's by Anne Mora. You probably have heard of this book. It's a complete Book of Shadows grimoire for the Green Witch. This author, Anne Mora, has written a lot of other books that I really like as well. But this one in particular I found to be really interesting because it is in the format of a grimoire. I opened up to a correspondence page for herbs. She's got some really cute stuff. I just think it's a really cool book, and it has different magics for esbats, sabbats, working with angels, working with deities, working with fairies, working with the darker sides of things. It has offering correspondences. It has how to open a circle if you don't know how to open a circle. I don't even think you have to be a green witch to own this book. It's a pretty good book. And she has a couple of other books on green witchcraft, and I think she has a book on tarot as well. Excuse me, a book on tarot as well. So 10 out of 10 recommend Anne Mora. So the next couple of books that I'm going to be recommending to you are on my Kindle, because I couldn't get them in an actual copy without it being terribly expensive. So I have my Kindle right here, and the first book that I have is Eclectic Wicca, A Guide for the Modern Witch by Mandy C. If you're not subscribed to Mandy... Oh my gosh. If you're not subscribed to Mandy C, you should be. That's Mandy with an I, and then C as in I see you. But, really good YouTuber, lots of information, really inspirational person to me. I've been watching her videos since I started on this path, and I was really excited when she came out with her documentary and her book. So this is a really good book. That's Eclectic Wicca, A Guide for the Modern Witch. Okay, so there are two books that I have that I'm gonna combine into sort of one, and that's the Book of Shadows for Potions and the Book of Shadows for Spells, both by the Black Cat Press. I had never really heard of Black Cat Press until I found them on Kindle, which I think it's pretty cool that they have these sorts of resources online. But Black Cat Press I have their book on potions and their book on spells. These two books I feel are really useful for beginners, and I got these when I was first starting out. So I recommend those if you're just starting out and you want to get into potions, or you want to get into spell work and you're not quite sure where to start. The next book I'm going to recommend is Celtic Lore and Spellcraft of the Dark Goddess, Invoking the Morrigan. It's by, I think, Stephanie Wood? Yes, Stephanie Wood. Woodfield, sorry, Stephanie Woodfield. This book I got on Kindle. I really, really wanted a hard copy of this, but I couldn't afford it at the time, so I was like, you know what, I'll just settle for the Kindle version. It's a good book. if you're interested in working with the Morgan or any dark goddess in particular, I feel like this book is very informative, and it gives you a good sense of what to expect. Not that there can be any expectations, but yeah, it's a really good book. Stephanie Woodfield does a very good job of interpreting her story and putting it in a way that anybody who works with the dark goddess can relate to. I bought this book a little while after I had already started working with the Morgan, so I kind of already had my footing, but this book would be really good for somebody who was in my position, who is in my current position even, or who is just starting out working with the dark goddess. It's really interesting. It has all of her lore from all of the Celtic cultures. It has all of the myths surrounding her. It has like correspondences with her and spells and rituals specific to her and her aspects. So I thought that was pretty cool. The next books I'm going to recommend are 4 books also that I got on my Kindle, all by Vivi James. There's Harnessing Air Magic, Harnessing Water Magic, Harnessing Earth Magic, and Harnessing Fire Magic. All by Vivi James. It's all elemental magic, and it has wonderful information. It has a couple of spells in there, it has correspondences with herbs, and even correspondences with pop culture. It is all the correspondences basically with each element, and it has examples of how to work with them if you're interested, or it has things in that you can obviously change if you have a more eclectic approach to things. But yes, Vivi James did a really good job of putting the 4 main elements into books. I don't think she's written a book on spirit, but yeah, pretty good author. So the next book that I'm going to recommend is the Illustrated Dream Dictionary by Russell Grant. This book is amazing. I started using this book when I very first started out on my path. It used to be on my mother's. This book is really fantastic. It's kind of well loved and got a couple of pages falling out, but it's very good. I used to all my friends would come to me and they'd be like, I just had this really weird dream, what do I do? And I was in like the 6th grade and I thought I was the shit. So I would pull out this book and I'd be like, oh, well, here's what your dream means. Here are some pictures that show you what your dream means. These are just words, but pictures. 10 out of 10 recommend, and that is by Russell Grant. It's illustrated by Vicky Emptage. I hope I'm saying that right. Now, this next book doesn't necessarily pertain to witchcraft specifically, just more, it's what I like to bring into my practice. So I am a literature nut. I love books, I love reading, and I especially love philosophy, which brings me to this book, Socrates to Sartre? I'm not sure. But it's a history of philosophy by Samuel Enoch Strumpf. It's a really good book. It's really old. I've read it cover to cover. I think my mom like stole it from her school or something when she was a kid. But it has like political philosophy, spiritual philosophy, scientific philosophies. I just opened up to a page about Thomas Aquinas. Proof from the Efficient Cause. It's a good book for philosophy. And I love philosophy. If you're studying philosophy and you want to bring that into your practice, I recommend this book. It's really old, I'm not sure how much it is, but it's a good book. These next 2 books are books that are for children. Shit, I have more books. Okay, so I have quite a few books for children, and some of them I don't have in my room, so I won't be showing them today. But these 2 books were given to me by my grandmother when I was a kid, before I started getting on this path, and excuse me, I still revert back to them just because they have some interesting mythology from lore that I concern myself with. But it's magical creatures and mythical beasts. I believe you can find these at Michael's. Shocking. But they came with like these cute little statues. Like right here I've got a little unicorn statue. They do have relevant information that relates to actual creatures from different philosophies and from different spiritual pantheons and groups. So if you have kids and you have them going on a spiritual path, I definitely recommend these books. They're very nice. They introduce a lot of cool imagery and philosophy and all kinds of cool stuff. This next book is a book on Greek mythology. It's by Edith Hamilton. I'm not sure where the paper cover of this book went, but Mythology by Edith Hamilton. It's a really good book. If you're interested in the Greek pantheon, or you work with Greek deities, it has deity information in it. It has all kinds of cool things. Has things on the Roman gods and Greek gods, and at the beginning it has like a list of all of the creatures and the characters and the deities and what they are associated with in both the Greek and Roman pantheon. So this book is really neat. I got this when I was first starting out my path as well. I just found it randomly. It's a really old book. This next book is not necessarily a book, but a screenplay, and it is The Crucible. I fucking loved The Crucible. If you watch Salem on TV, you would like The Crucible. If you are interested in witchcraft at all in America, especially back in the witch trial days, Arthur Miller's version of The Crucible is really good. I read this when I was in like 7th grade. Yeah, it's just a screenplay. It's really good. I've seen the play, I've read the screenplay. It's a very nice book. I 10 out of 10 recommend this book, especially if you're into darker aspects of things. If you are interested in the Arthurian mythology, what happened to me? There we go. If you're interested in like Avalon or anything to do with King Arthur, and you put that in your practice, especially if you're on the Celtic path, here is part of the Arthur trilogy, Book 1, The Seeing Stone, by Kevin Crossley Holland. This book is really nice. I got it when I was a kid, like you do, and I think it was my brother's actually, but it's a really interesting story. It follows around King Arthur, obviously, and this is the first book out of the 3, and I think it has all of the mythology and the stories around him in all 3 books, but this is the first one, so 10 out of 10 recommend, go ahead and get it. This next book is translated by Raymond O. Faulkner, and I got this book when I was first starting out because I was looking around different pantheons and wondering which one was for me. I had always had a fascination with the Egyptian pantheon, so I got the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Look at that. Wow. It's really interesting. I really like this book. I believe it was gifted to me, but you can probably find it anywhere, to be perfectly honest. It's got translations from the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. It's got mythology in it, it's got work with deity in it. Osiris and Isis, my favorites. And yeah, it's just a really good book. And if you are interested in Egyptian mythology at all, or Egyptian philosophy of the time, if you're a history nut, I recommend this book. This translation of this book. I've read other translations, and I think this one is the easiest to understand. This next book, I have other books by this author, but this one pertains to my practice specifically. I would recommend going on Amazon and looking at other books by DJ Conway. But Celtic Magic by DJ Conway. If you can't tell, I am on the Celtic path, and I work with the goddess Morrigan, and this book was extremely important to the beginning of my practice. It was one of the first pagan books I got, that I got myself, and it's very good for beginners. It has, of course, correspondences. It's just really good for beginners on the Celtic path. It has stuff on the Ogham, has elements. It has all of the Celtic mythology in here, so if you're interested in mythos and learning about what happened, you go right ahead and you get this book by DJ Conway. It has good Sabbath rituals as well. I'm not sure if it has Esbat rituals in here, but it definitely has good Sabbath rituals. It even has a self-initiation ritual in here, which I think is super neat. This next book my sister got for me, I had seen this book around and I never felt particularly drawn to it, but my sister got it for me, I think as a joke. It's Wikipedia. Haha. Yes, very funny. It's actually a really good book. It's more, honestly, it's more concerned with angelic Wicca than for a modern day witch's guide. It is definitely Wicca centric, and I consider myself to be more of a witch than a Wiccan, but you know what? It's a great book if you're into that. It's by Sean Robbins and Leanna Greenway. It has a couple of good spells that I would use occasionally, so I did mark a couple of pages, but it has some information that I don't particularly agree with, but that's just me. I mean, if you're more into the Wiccan approach to things or the lighter approach to things, I definitely recommend this book. You can get it on Amazon. I got this at a store called Psychic Eye Books, or my sister got this for me at a store called Psychic Eye bookstore. But yes, it's very nice. It's a very pretty book, I have to admit. Very pretty book. So yes, that is all the books that I have to share with you today. While I do own more, I can't seem to find them, and I'm not about to go searching for them. So honestly, that's all I'm going to be showing you today. If you like this video, leave a comment, leave a like. You can subscribe if you want to. I don't really care, to be honest. I love having more of you though, because the whole community thing is really big on me, which I'm going to make a video later discussing the word community, because I have not always had the best time with that word community. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys soon, and blessed be.